Hi! So, Dynamite was last night. It's fucking incredible episode of Dynamite. No real bad matches at all. Not a lot of segments in terms of like, oh, this dragged. None of that. Great flow, great matches as you expect. Let's talk about it because it is excellent. So, our show opened up with Moxley and Claudio teaming up against Takeshita and Hechicero. Now, this was obviously set up last week on Collision because of Claudio and Takeshita having a match and Hechicero getting involved. So, the match was excellent. I mean, from all four of these workers, you're going to expect that, but they all had great chemistry with each other. No one felt like, okay, we're focusing on so-and-so together. The most time is dedicated to Claudio and Hechicero, I'd say, because they're clearly trying to build a match between them two and maybe a feud, obviously for the CMLL title. I think besides the Bandido match last year, and debatably Moxley's match with him in the for the Continental Championship the other week, this is the best we've seen Hechicero. The guy's movement, the guy's everything about him, like he does that neck crank move, he does the roll again. It's just phenomenal. Claudio's explosion, just explosiveness in terms of his striking. Takeshita, obviously, Takeshita's just a fucking demon. Like, what else can you say? And then that's not even covering Moxley. Moxley's just, it's not even just resilient at this point. It's just brutality, and it's incredible. I do like how fluid Claudio and Moxley look as a tag. And I don't really think I've seen them in a while as just them two as a tag. So that was really interesting to see. Obviously, Claudio does look really good. You know, obviously, in sense of the uppercuts are excellent. They really, I mean, what you expect. Hechicero, like I say, him and Claudio do get the most time. They're clearly trying to build something. And then, obviously, Takeshita and Moxley's whole thing where they're going, rah! All that stuff. Takeshita keeps getting, you know, the entire knees, keeps getting the attack. And on the front foot, definitely. I wouldn't say he's the better of the two, but you get one point. I think I think this match makes Hechicero look the best, and I really appreciate that because with all four of them are all superstars, but like Hechicero's the one with the least weight, so I really appreciated how Hechicero looked. I couldn't even tell you one off the top of my head. It's this early. I think it was Takeshita and Hechicero who won, if I remember correctly. It doesn't really matter. So after the match, when it ends, Lance Archer comes out with Don as they're attacking the Death Riders. And they bring a chair in, telling Takeshita to go for the chair again, similar to last week on Collision. And Takeshita grabs the chair and he's about to do it, and he just goes no and throws it down. Hechicero's fucking livid. Don doesn't really have an expression, but it shows truly it's like Takeshita's turning face. He doesn't like, you know, fight with all the family. He just goes, no, it's enough, don't need it. And like they're pissed at him, but he does calm it down and like, you know, they just walk off. Moxley, like, I see you, and then Takeshita doesn't let his eyes off Moxley. He goes, me and you. And then, you know, does the whole thing with the belt. But then basically signals that he doesn't want to... I don't know if it's a respect thing or, frankly, I don't need that. I don't want to give that excuse. I like to think it's the latter. But that's how it ends. Moxley does show a bit of acknowledgement. Marina Shafir in this match is funny as hell. Obviously, with the... she doesn't really have involved, but she just keeps just, like, staring. And, like, when they get the win, it was Claudio and Mox got the win. She celebrates in front of the commentary for no reason. Moxley's paradigm shift, no chop. I think there was a cutter though. It was just what you expect. It was a super solid opener. It really was. I was surprised this didn't finish, but it was a super solid opener. I really enjoyed this one. So after this, backstage we had Willow and Persephone from CMLL. Now them two have a TNT title match, or TBS title match, sorry, this evening, and they're basically saying, wow, both basically giving each other credit for beating Mercedes, saying let's have a great match. And Persephone goes, no, I think I beat Mercedes better than you. I think I bit harder. And Willow's like, okay, but you know, let's just have a good match. So, you know, basically Persephone's being the more like, not standoffish, more aggressive out of the two, but not like a heel way. But I really enjoyed that little interaction. I like Persephone. I didn't realize she was so young. It's insane. But that was a fun little backstage segment. Then it follows up with another backstage segment after the break. It was Don Callis, Kyle Fletcher getting prepared. Callis is just waxing lyrical about Kyle to Kyle, going, you're the best TBS champion, let's go kill Speedball Mike Bailey. And Max comes up, MJF, and I'm like, oh shit, I've wanted Max versus Kyle for fucking ages, by the way. And he goes, hey Kyle, yeah, could you just take care of Speedball for me, please? You know, just give him a right noggin. because he kicked me last week. And Kyle goes, no, I don't think who the hell you're talking to, because I don't take orders from the likes of you. And then Max just goes, okay. And he just turns to Don and goes, Don, better teach your family how to speak to the world champion. And then Kyle basically goes, we're not working for that scumbag, are we? And Don goes, Kyle, who do I look like? So that was funny. I'm just happy we got Kyle and MJF interaction. This should have been a feud. Kyle should be in the world picture, TBS picture. He does a lot for TNT picture. Fuck, I'm getting confused. He does a lot for it, but MJF versus Kyle for the belt feud-wise would have been 10 out of 10. Easy. And it would have been, honestly, one of the best feuds of the year. But this interaction, hopefully that means they're doing something more. So, after this, we actually got Kyle versus Speedball for the TNT Championship. I mean, good God. I think this is possibly on level or even better than the the Continental Classic match. It might be a tiny bit worse just because so early on, I need to say this now, Speedball's one of the best fucking wrestlers in the world. He is insane. This match completely proves it. It just doesn't stop. It doesn't load up. The kicks, the amount of kicks Speedball lands and how effective they look are insane. That's not even including his aerial ability. It's nuts. The match just doesn't let up. It just continues to rise and rise and rise. It's phenomenal. It's a phenomenal match. It's one of the matches of the year. It's better than Kenny on Andrade and Swerve and Kenny. For me, it really is. And that's saying something again. Kyle's the fucking guy. But Speedball's kicks just absolutely obliterate Kyle. I mean, there's a kick early on. I don't know if it's like the landing of it or what. It fucks Kyle's arm up, his shoulder specifically, and it's like clearly hurts him, like for realsies. So it fucks him. He's trying to struggle. Kyle doesn't let up. You can tell he's clearly like held back by that. He does get a lot of kicks. He does get a pile driver and stuff in. I enjoyed that. What this did cause to do was Speedball taking the reins of the match, and I think that was the best move for it. Where Speedball again just basically dominates Kyle, but Kyle won't give in, and Speedball's entire thing is he just won't give up on Kyle. So he's just like the flips again. It's the kicks, the amount of kicks that are thrown just by Speedball alone are next level. They are next level. Like the speed again, ironically the speed. Like I think that was the big thing. Like Kyle couldn't keep up with Speedball's speed, and like they put it over on commentary going basically. He basically go, Kyle's fast, but he's not got the speed. The Speedball's like, yeah, he's called fucking Speedball. So Speedball basically has the match won. He has the match won. But then Okada and Davis run out. And Okada's distracting the ref, trying to give up Kyle a screwdriver. And then Davis runs and gets Kyle the trios belts. And gets the belt and hits Bailey with the trio belt. And then gets the pin. Speedball's pissed. Brian even got, because they were teasing the time limit draw. I thought they were going to go down that route. I wouldn't have loved it, but I would have got it, because at the end of the day you can build more out of that. Frankly, this is the guy who has to take the TNT Championship off Kyle. Has to be the way they've built it up now. It has to happen. The only other person is Brody, maybe if you want to build someone else, but this one that makes sense. But as a match, I mean, Jesus. Yeah, this can't end like this. It has to have another one. It has to. This is a match I could never get tired of seeing, and that's like the biggest compliment you can give a wrestling match, in my opinion. Is if I can watch these two have 100 more matches and never get tired of it, I'm not gonna be bothered. That's exactly what this match is. Speedball is just another fucking level, and they announced some stuff during the match as well, which we're not going to speak about, but if you know me, Jesus, I erect. But as a match of the year contender already, I don't give a fuck. And frankly, regarding Speedball, I don't know what, like, it feels like he's wasted in the tag division, so I'm kind of glad that they're teasing Kevin Knight and him singles, so I wonder how that goes. But Jesus, like, every time a push comes to shove, like for a match like this for Speedball, he delivers tenfold. He's incredible. If you haven't watched this match, it's easily the match of the night. Easily. So, after this, we actually got a Brody King standby squash match. It was a squash match. He hits a powerbomb and a lariat. That was it. And it's done. Frankly, there's not even a name for the jobber. So, again, I don't really like that. I think you should always have the names. And after that, Brody's walking out. Because he cuts a promo, like, picture-in-picture, going, Swerve, I've been looking everywhere for you. You know, I'm the most dangerous man. Blah, blah, blah. And he's walking out, and then a guy, Swerve, pulls the chain out and starts strangling Brody with the chain. Across the barrier, jumps over and starts attacking Brody. reveals the hood. It's Swerve. What? And then they're in the ring. This is fucking beast, and he's got Brody by the neck with the chain, and then Brody just goes and snaps the fucking chain bare hand, and Swerve's like shit, like he's like a sword ghost. It's 10 out of 10, and then Brody just proceeds to beat the ever living shit out of him, starts strangling him with the chain a bit, like the broken remnants of the chain. Does like the rolling cannonball thing. Nana tries to attack him, and then he just looks at Nana and pushes him. Nana goes flying. As it continues, basically Swerve ends up escaping the ring, and when he escapes, Brody's calling out and they're standing on the ramp. Pretty basic. Nice to get those on the TV though. I was really happy that they actually had an appearance. So, after this, we actually got Speedball backstage, and Speedball's pissed, and Renee's asking him, like, Speedball, what do you think about that? You had the match won. And basically Speedball goes, I'm not going to talk about the past, even though I have this match won. You know, he's clearly pissed, and he goes, but Don Callis' family, me Kevin Knight, and we'll be teaming up with Misco, basically calling him out at for Revolution's match for the trios belts. But then, what is cool, he goes, Kyle, this ain't over, and walks off. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, Speedball, do your shit. So, after this, we actually got our tag match with Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy versus the Dogs, which at this point was Gabe Kidd and David Finlay. No Clark Connors in the match, kills me. But I was excited to see more of David Finlay. This match didn't really grab me. It's definitely the weakest match of the night, but it's still pretty damn good in the sense of, it's like, I'm just not into Gabe Kidd. He's just not my guy. He's just not. I feel like the presentation's off. David Finlay has something there. It's just, there's just not, for me, there was not a lot of time dedicated to it. It becomes more of a mess. Frankly, there's no structure. Like, Cassidy's just off doing his own thing. He gets annihilated later on, but he gets the pockets in, like, instantaneously. But, like, normally that's a big spot. There was no build. With Darby, I mean, Darby and Gabe just, they put it over on commentary. It's like, they're the only two who've got similar mindsets to each other, like, kind of, but they don't really replicate that in the ring. It's weird. Finlay, I don't think we got enough of him. I would have liked to see, I think Finlay needs a singles match. If you're going to do a tag, do him with Clark, because it's not messy like with Gabe. He doesn't suit that messy style to me. He's not that type of guy. He needs a bit more structure. But at least that's just so I can get a form an opinion on the guy. The match was fine. There was not really much of note to me. I don't feel like I can think of anything. But what happened during the match is, over the barrier, Clark Connors appears. Yes! And then he gets the chain and starts strangling. It was Darby. Was it Darby or it was? I think it was Darby. No, so it was Cassidy who he strangles. He basically takes Cassidy out of the match, and then Darby just gets battered by the pair of them, and then to get the win, Clark comes in. He gets the. They start attacking Cassidy. They drag Cassidy back in, start attacking him. And then Roddy comes out and it's like, oh shit, Roddy, we haven't seen Roddy in weeks since he left Cassidy. So they're inviting him, and everyone's like, has Roddy joined the Dogs? Is this what we're gonna do with Roddy? Because it was completely on the cards. And Roddy's standing there and like he goes, pass me him, and they give Roddy Cassidy because they think, oh yeah, he wants to take out Cassidy. And then Roddy fights for Cassidy and starts attacking him off with Darby and Cassidy, and goes down and puts the hand out for Cassidy, gives him a high five. So there's clearly, they're back on the same, well, they're now on the same page because they were never on the same page. But so yeah, they're clearly going to build that for either Collision or a Revolution match, the trios match between those two. Nice to see Roddy back. I think that's what that whole match just kind of structured. If you give me a Roddy single match with Clark Connors, I am all for it. That's the move to make, 100%. But as a match, it was fine. Just nice to see Roddy back. That's what it felt like it serviced. But hopefully we get some more stuff with David Finlay too. So after this, we actually got Persephone versus Willow for the TBS title. I enjoyed this a lot. I think it was mainly just Persephone. It was similar to the Speedball match, but not to the level of it. The crowd weren't up for it, weirdly, which it felt a bit slow for them, but like, it's still a great match. I mean, Persephone's just a phenomenal wrestler, and that's not even, just Willow just makes her look even a million times better. I think what I liked about it is Persephone really looked, she looked the better of the two, frankly, and I really appreciated that from her beating Mercedes. I think that was a necessary thing to do. It's like Willow kept trying to strike, and when Willow strike, it did affect, but Persephone was just a bit more, it was the youngness. They put it over on commentary yet again. Just the amount of years. Persephone's only 24. So, I'm like, that's clearly the advantage, and I really appreciated how they portrayed that. Persephone's just, if you've not seen Persephone, she's a very weird wrestler, and I think that's what I like about her. She's so unique in the sense of she's very technical but still very weighty in the sense of her strikes and stuff. It's like she's a weird mix of, I couldn't even tell you what mix she is, but she's phenomenal. Honestly, she's really interesting wrestler to watch, and like I said, Willow just makes her look even better. She just elevates it. And frankly, the match ends by Willow getting a roll up, and I love that because Willow's like trying to play it off. It's like, Willow, don't even play that off. Persephone's head is gone. And it's like, Jesus, she had that match won. That's like blatant robbery. I don't know if this means we're going to turn like Persephone a heel or some shit, but either way, I think that was a solid move. I really enjoyed that. I didn't like if Willow won clean or they didn't come back spots. I like the fact that they made Persephone look stronger by having Willow have a desperation win. We don't get to see Persephone for the show, but it looked like she was about to crash out. Willow was showing respect during the match. They shake hands during the match. But then, after the match, she doesn't really acknowledge her. So she looks at her and that's it, like, but with a smile. It's like, is Persephone... I think that was weird. I don't know what's going on there. But either way, don't let this be the end of Persephone in the TBS picture, because, frankly, I wouldn't be against her winning the damn thing. I wouldn't be against anyone winning a belt of Willow. She can't have two. She has to have one, for me, personally. But either way, the match was super solid. The crowd didn't give it enough attention, in my opinion. This was very much the lowest of the night. But in terms of the crowd were excellent. Obviously, they do the fuck ice chant with Brody and Don Callis, so obviously that's great. So after this, we get a Tommaso Ciampa hype package with what's going on with him and Briscoe, obviously. And after that, we get Willow and Harley backstage. And Willow's like really happy. Go, woo, Harley, I feel like $1 million. She beat the champion. She beat the champion in Mexico. She's beat the women's champion in England recently in the Eve show, which I was very unfortunate not to attend, but I've heard everyone who did had a great time, so I need to watch the Jamie Hayter match specifically. And then she basically is calling out saying, Harley, I feel great. Why don't we defend the TBS title and the tag titles on Revolution 0 Hour? So she's like calling out Megan Bayne and Lana Cross. It's like, okay. And then they confirm it's going to be fucking TBS title for Lana Cross. Like, how the fuck does that make sense? Megan Bayne's right there? I don't know, but they're doing the tag matches on 0 Hour. So, there's that. Yay. So after this, we have our main event match. We have Mark Briscoe, and the Bucks versus FTR and Tommaso Ciampa. This match was fun. It was pure fun. It was excellent. FTR is so fucking good. Ciampa, they make Ciampa look elevated as hell. The speed in this match, no one lets up. Everyone has perfect chemistry, as you expect from the Bucks and FTR situation. The Briscoe really, it feels weird to see Briscoe in this setting because he seems a lot different to how he normally is in terms of how extreme, but in a good way. In the sense of, like, he does seem more like a tag wrestler, which he obviously is by nature, but he seems like that more. Him and Ciampa get a lot of stuff with each other. Ciampa looks great. He looks vicious. He looks psychotic, frankly. The tables are brought out early. I like how they've done the finish where they eliminated Nick through putting him through a table. And then Dax and Matt both fucking done themselves over on the table with Cash helping out. So then it was just Briscoe, and then they just left it to him and Ciampa having a 1v1, which was excellent. I just think FTR is so good. Briscoe fits the theme of the fluidity of the guys. Ciampa doesn't, but in a good way. Ciampa feels very much a vocal point of himself rather than the tag fluency. And I love that. I think Briscoe does fall into the tag fluency, obviously, so that makes sense. Either way, I thought this match was great. It was a really fun main event. I like how it just kind of went, fuck it, just go out and just give it all, and I appreciate that. Ciampa and Briscoe can't be done. No way. That has to continue because, frankly, the venom in this match. After the match, what I loved about it is Tommaso Ciampa gets two steel chairs, brings them in the ring and puts them up like that, gets Briscoe and power bombs him through off the rope. Through the chairs, looks brutal. Briscoe looks fucked, and Ciampa's face looks like Hangman Psychotic. It's a 10 out of 10 facial expression, and he sits there on the chairs and puts his arms out like that. It's like, oh, you're back. You're fucking back. Honestly, I cannot give enough praise and credit, whatever, to Tommaso Ciampa since joining AEW. He has been absolutely stellar, and that shot of him with the arms out is a 10 out of fucking 10. No notes. That's Ciampa back. He'll be coming out to booze rather than a theme soon enough. And that theme's a fucking banger, by the way. So that's going to be hard work. So, after this, we actually got our main event segment, the dumbass press conference, which Brian hosted. Brian! So that was, they putting over Shivani says, like, Brian Daniels, like, he says it all night, and it's hilarious. Brian's like, yeah, I can't wait. And you can just hear, like, yeah, Tony, alright, come on. It's hilarious. The press conference was dumb as fuck. It was stupid. I hated it. I loved it and hated it. It was just, the crowd were booing it because it was backstage, not in the ring, which made no sense, obviously, because they had the match. They had, like, weird, like, they had real people ask questions, but I don't think they were actually there, because you hear, like, the voices, but they don't show the faces. And it's like Denise, I'll say that, like, whatever, that Denise, the girl who does the wrestling content, she's great, because she actually covers good shit as well. She's on there, and you hear her voice, and it's like, there's a woman at the front, like, because it shuts the back of their heads, and I'm like, is that her? I don't know, but they didn't have the guy who asked about the fucking Waffle House order, which is great. The press conference was just such a fucking work. It was weird. It's like, they're asking dumbass questions, like, who are you if you don't win the belt, Hangman? Texas Death Max. It just doesn't feel natural, and that's what I didn't appreciate. I really didn't like it. I thought, especially with Brian, I thought they were going to do, like, a thing in the ring, and then it was going to break down. It never. It does break down. Max goes and gets a beer, saying, toast to you never being world champion. Goes and gives it to Hangman himself. Obviously, it's going to go awry. Hangman slaps it, and then throws the one over, and then Max throws his beer, and then they just start brawling in the arena. Hangman hits, about to hit the dead eye. No, he hits the dead eye. Max obviously Hangman has to take all the security out. Max gets the ring but doesn't hit, and then runs away, and then they stare at each other. Great shot when they're staring each other out from the ring and the outside. And frankly, that was it. It was kind of a waste. Again, I said this in the preview. It shouldn't have main evented, and even watching it shouldn't have even been on TV. In that way, it shouldn't have. It wasn't the greatest. It just felt unnecessary. Obviously, they're gonna put it on TV. It's the main event Revolution. They should have ended on the Briscoe match, the Briscoe and Bucks match versus Ciampa and FTR. Should have switched those all there, and no one would have complained. No one. So that's the issue it had. Obviously, they're gonna not do it because of the brawl, but like, you can do that. Just cut it to a break. It was just weird. But I'm excited for the match. This is the thing. It just didn't help it. It just felt unnecessary and weird. And just, if it's gonna be such a work and so unnatural, don't do it. If you're gonna do it natural. Just get actual questions. But you know you can't ask the audience questions because they'll be just like, Max, what's your favorite car? Like, fuck off. But either way, they should have just done a face-to-face segment with Brian in the middle. Maybe no physicality or some shit. I don't know. That could have worked. But either way, it's not the worst thing in the world. It was just, it felt like something WWE do, or it felt like the Cody and Anthony Ogogo segment, which maybe that's what they're trying to go for. But either way, it was fine. It just wasn't for me. It was dumb, but not in the fun, dumb way. So, that was it for Dynamite this week. A phenomenal card. It really was. Top to bottom, everything was stellar. Not a lot of promos. The matches were great, though. I mean, Speedball versus Kyle Fletcher's a 10 out of 10. It's a fucking... I was watching it going, this is a father. Moxley and Claudio versus Hechicero and Takeshita's excellent. I love how they're building that match. That's really intrigued me. Ciampa just steals it again. Him and Briscoe obviously needs to continue. Bucks and FTR just gets better and better. I thought FTR do some more dumb shit. They don't. Stokely does attack though. And yeah, Max versus MJF was kind of the low point of the night, but that was because it was stupid and just didn't work. But the match is still going to be fucking great anyway, so who gives a shit? They didn't pay in so much as Texas Death. I thought they were going to do something like that. But Stephanie being on there was great. I don't want to talk about the Collision announcements here, but they've announced probably the me match of the fucking century for Collision. That is better than anything on Revolution, and I really mean that. I'm going to talk about that eventually. But either way, I really enjoyed Dynamite this week. I thought the flow to it was great. There's still, like, again, the press conference sucked, but that was it. That was it, really. I think, like, the certain things, like the Darby and Cassidy match against Gabe and Finlay, that's never going to grab me. But at least we got Roddy back. You know, there's stuff in there that stuff wouldn't really get me. Still intrigued me, so I really appreciated that. Really fucking solid Dynamite. Really enjoyed it this week. So yeah, that's Dynamite for this week. I really enjoyed it. What's your thoughts on the show? What was your favourite highlight tonight? And what's your opinion on Kyle versus Speedball? Because I thought that was a fucking phenomenal match. Really did. And how do you think Ciampa's been doing in AEW? Because I think he steals the show every night, frankly.